Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial, I'll be demonstrating how to create 2 different cakes using one simple floral design. I have my hybrid buttercream frosting at the ready. This will be linked in the description box and the eye icon above. Take a baking tray lined with some baking paper, and then this type of piping tip, I'll have the number listed below. Place it onto your tray and then pivot your wrist back and forth, left and right, and then lift up. As you're lifting, you will still want to maintain a little bit of pressure on the piping bag. That is, as you're lifting, you still want to keep squeezing ever so slightly so you don't end up with a big gaping hole in the center. This is a trick that I noticed seemed to work for me. Once you piped all your flowers, you want to add in the little centers. These are Maltesers. I'm adding in edible luster dust over the top, giving it a bit of a shake. You could do this in a Ziploc bag instead, and it should coat all your Maltesers nicely. Drop them into the center of your flower and just press it in to make sure that it's stuck to your buttercream. Now they're ready to go into the freezer to set completely. Mine stayed in the freezer for about 3 hours. And in the meantime, I'll start building my cake. This is a 5-inch round cake that is extra tall. There'll be a video linked in the description box and the eye icon of how to build a super tall cake. Create a really thick crumb coat over the top, just in regular white, haven't colored my frosting with anything. Smooth it all out and then bring that lip of frosting to the center. From here, I place my cake into the fridge for about 20 minutes or so, just until the frosting is nice and set. Once it's set, we can start assembling our flowers on the cake. For the first cake, I'm only assembling 2 rows and I'm using a little bit more buttercream to stick my flowers on top. Gently remove them from the baking paper just by running a spatula or a knife directly underneath. You'll notice that some of the gold came off with my fingers. I do paint that in afterwards and I'll show you how to fix that. But it kind of looked nice and rustic and antique that way, so totally up to you. You might want to leave it as is. For the top tier, this is a 4-inch cake, and I'm filling it with, covering it with some more of that white frosting. You might want to use a 6-inch base tier instead of a 5-inch base tier for this, so there's a little bit more room between the tiers. Following the exact same steps, so smoothing it out and then popping it into the freezer because we're going to be handling it with our hands. 3 hours later, she is really firm. I've popped some bubble tea straws in the base tier to support the weight of the top tier. Place a ribbon for decoration and then create a paste with your luster dust and vodka and paint in your Maltesers. For a finishing touch, I popped some of those flowers on the very top tier as well and covered the holes with the Maltesers. That's the first cake complete. Very elegant and very simple, but engagement worthy all the same. For the second cake, we are just going to do a 1 tier now instead, and we're basically just following through with what we did for the base. For the previous cake, we only did 2 rows. For this particular cake, we are just going to act like we are going to keep building on those layers. Very simple. The flowers did end up being much taller than the cake, but I kind of like that. I'd rather it be too tall than not tall enough and seeing just a line of cake that's uncovered, if you know what I mean. And there's our second cake. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial and give it a go. The number of this piping tip will be listed in the description box below. Feel free to subscribe for more tutorials like this, and I'll catch you in the next video.